start this meet, and I start I have some questions with me. I have tried my level best to bring all the questions so that we can really come up with some fruitful discussion and wonderful deliberation. So thank you all the honorable guests here. So I'll start my the first speaker whom I want to address with a question is Dr. S.K. Varshney, who is ex-scientist from DST Government of India. So, Professor, as Dr. Varshney, from a research perspective, what insight can you provide on market trends impacting job seekers' preferences and career trajectories? Yes,
Uh,
Professor Varshney.
yeah, thank you, Nivita ji, and thank you UptoSkills for inviting me over here. Thanks to Sivam and Elijah also, and my co-panelist. Well, what I feel is that learning is everyday affair, and we learn both formally and informally. Formally, of course, we go to school, colleges, we go to work, and at each place we get new learning. But then when we are going through this process, we must understand that our textbooks are standards and they need to get improved in terms of new knowledge very timely. But currently, if we are talking at a school level, it's taking quite a lot. NCRT books are revised after 5 to 6 years. And in our universities, when our students are doing bachelor and master programs, even they are not abreast with the latest information or latest knowledge. When we are looking at market is very dynamic, and every day, because of this knowledge economy, unless you improve upon your product, even though you are market leader, you need to constantly improve your product to sustain your position. Otherwise, you would be out soon. So if we see number of technology which are playing role, I'm sorry, I cannot speak on for humanities and commerce. That is my limitations. But if we see in terms of science and technology, everyday technologies are making a huge change. And it's not only digital technologies, even biotechnologies, space technologies, agriculture technology, they're all making a huge boom. So what we would expect our researchers that they should be aware about the market requirement. Every researcher must have a understanding why that fellow is doing research, what are the social and market relevance of its research. Because if the research is not leading to any meaningful contribution in terms of social correction, in terms of improvement of product line in the market, your research is going to be limited to your thesis work or to academic purposes only. So we need to make sure, in several countries, it is mandatory that research scholars are exposed and they are working on a problem being faced by that society, or they are trying to develop a new product for the market. We must reorient ourselves that our research is more purposeful. It's not, of course, it need to be for the academic gain, but simultaneously we should address the market, the society. And for that, it is important that there are a lot of discussions between industry and academia, and industry could give challenges to the academia. Academia through a student could find out those answers. Internship, fellowships help that practice, but it is important that academics are reoriented to the market needs. Thank you.
Very well said, sir. Uh, ab- Absolutely, there requires a input from the industry as far as academia is concerned. Now, moving ahead, Dr. Mahesh Bhatt, sir, how do you perceive the current skills gap affecting recruitment and placement? And what innovative solutions do you propose to bridge this gap?
Well, good morning, everyone. See, the current skills gap is very significantly impacting the recruitment and placement process in many of the companies. And when the employer struggles to find a candidate with the necessary skills for open position, that results in, that delay in filling roles, increases recruitment costs, and decreases productivity. And I suggest some solutions which come to my mind is one is customized training programs with educational institutions like even UptoSkills to suit the industry needs. Then upskilling and reskilling existing employees so that there is no need to look for talent outside. Then apprenticeship programs which can bring in fresh ideas, at the same time help bridge the gap between education and practical work experience. And the lastly, I feel the internship opportunities which can help companies identify potential candidate early and provide them with a real world experience in their field.
Thank you so much. It's a very apt answer, sir. Uh, Moving ahead, Mr. Dalit Singh. Now you are one of the founder and among the top 100 startups in India. So I think that this question is very apt with you. That can you share any insight into how technology-enabled human capital solutions can address recruitment challenges faced by colleges and companies? Mr. Lalit, can you hear me?
I'm so sorry. I was on mute.
Oh,
I said good morning to all of you and thank you UptoSkills to invite me on this platform and me to be able to share the views from employer side, or maybe, someone who comes from a perspective of bridging the gap between employers and the candidates who are aspirants for the job. Um, Question here is that how do we see technology enabled solutions to address the challenges that we are facing today? First of all, it's a perennial problem of mix and match. If you look at the overall scenario, the way we are operating in India, there are a lot of jobs. 1 million jobs are getting created every month. And we know we always talk about one of the perennial problems that we have as country, that is unemployment. So millions of, or rather, tens of millions of or hundreds of millions of job seekers are looking for right job opportunities. The problem is of mix and match. How do we solve for that problem? The problem can be solved only by having a process, a system in place that can work at a large scale. Humanly, you can't do that kind of mix and match. India is a large country. So being able to do that, the only way to do that will be using a lot of technology and AI solutions. I'll give you an example, practically the way we take care of that. If you look at a blue collared workforce, many of these candidates, they come from the 6 states of India where a lot of migration takes place from, right? So we are talking about Bihar, UP, Jharkhand, West Bengal, Odisha. So what a lot of these candidates, there are very peculiar traits that you will see. The candidates from Bihar, UP, they would love to go to Delhi. For them, Bangalore or Chennai can be very far. People from the candidates from Odisha, they feel that Delhi is unsafe. They would like to migrate to Bangalore and Chennai. So understanding the dynamics of the problem, we actually have migrated a lot of batches, hundreds of candidates who went from an institute to a client place, and we saw that they left after 5 6 days. The reason, they didn't like the food, they didn't like the rasam and vada pav. Sorry, rasam and vada. So it is important to understand the dynamics. How do you do that humanly? Not possible at a large scale. What systems does for you. So we have an engine, we call it Karam.ai at Meraki. In that engine, we have defined 24 most practical parameters, and then there will be hundreds of other parameters which are taken into account while looking at the candidate pool that we have and the job openings that we have, which will again be running in hundreds of numbers every moment. So having those all pools in your data bank and being able to run the engine on top of it, and at that scale being able to make meaningful mix and match, that is the way you can solve this problem of match not happening, and hence there is a constant dissatisfaction. There are jobs, there are jobless people. We need to mix and match in a way that it is a sustainable solution for both parties, and that can be done by using technology. I hope I have catered to your answer at the moment.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. So now I would like to invite Dr. Karthikeyan Balakumar, since he is a placement officer. So I think he can understand. I mean, we share the common pain. I mean, even I am also training in placement. So, I mean, whatever question I will be asking to him, that will be again from those pain points which I feel that I am suffering, and probably he's also suffering, right?
Sure.
So, yes, Mr. Karthikeyan, as a placement officer, how do you address the skills gap among students and ensure they are adequately prepared for the demands of the job market?
So, hi everyone. Thank you so much for having me over. Thank you, Nivedita ma'am, for giving me this question. So, I actually have a very holistic view of this entire thing. So the way we look at it here at IIM Sirmoor is placements is not a right for any of the students. So students need to understand fully well that placements is a service that's offered to them as a part of the program, but 100% placement is not something that we're going to guarantee. Students' primary agenda in the institute is to go ahead and become academically proficient. And if they're going to go ahead and do that, placements is going to be a necessary outcome. It is not going to be a sufficient one, right? So as far as understanding the skill gap is concerned, most of the students who come to an IIM already have cleared the CAT. And all of the students have already cleared the CAT and they have come at a certain level. So what needs to be done is just the finishing school bit. And we use technology as well, just like Lalit sir had pointed out. We float surveys and we try to understand where exactly the gap exists with the student. Now, what happens after this is is the magic. So essentially, this input from the placement committee and the training committee is taken to the PGP, which is the postgraduate program. And the PGP chair, along with the faculty members, they go ahead and then craft the curriculum in such a way that these gaps are actually addressed. Now, if you see that the students were not able to make very good presentations, then we go ahead and say this particular batch, it requires more presentation focus. So give them more presentations. If there are students who require public speaking skills, we go ahead and use that and ask them to go ahead and do that. And we also increase the number of competitions that our students are required to attend. We also ensure that students go to industry experts and have industry conversations regularly. And this way we actually address the skill gap. But before we go to that, I just wanted to kind of give away my thoughts on some of the things that were told earlier by the speakers. So first, with Dr. Varshini, I think he made a few very nice points, but I have my own take and I just thought maybe I can ask him personally. Sir? Dr. Sanjeev?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Hi, sir. Sir, I completely agree with you about the updating the textbooks bit. Just as a student, very curious, uh, do you really think just updating, I mean, updating the textbooks is like the easiest thing that we can do as facilitators, as educators, but then there is this bit about getting the students to learn how to learn, which I think is actually missing because now, and I'll give you a little bit of an example. So more than being the placement chairperson here at IIM, I'm actually a faculty member. I teach marketing here. And one of the things that I see is students these days, they go ahead and pick up their phones and search on YouTube for answers rather than on Google. In my generation, it used to be Google search. Now it's a YouTube search and people are just given the answer. And of late, what is also happening is almost any answer is readily available to them, and that kind of stops them from thinking. So my take on the question which ma'am had posed to you was, maybe we should stop thinking about updating the textbooks, but actually start thinking about getting them to understand the concepts even more intimately than just knowledge. Like just knowing the subject matter is not sufficient, but they'll need to know how to come to that conclusion basis the facts that have been presented to them. And the second thing I wanted to ask you is also this, because I'm a researcher myself. uh, you said research needs to be more purposeful, but I'm sure you're also familiar with this idea of standing on the shoulders of giants. So some of the research that gets done is just done for the sake of research, but then basis that at some point you're going to go ahead and do something incredibly great. Like, for example, I think many of the inventions that we have today were not invented because someone was focusing attention on that, but it was invented by chance, and it managed to revolutionize an industry in toto. So just thought I'll just bounce those ideas off of you, sir.
Could I respond?
Yes, sir, please. I'm sorry.
Yeah, thank you very much. No, I agree with you partially. You know, our textbooks at various level, whether it is school or university level, uh, there is a need to make them more connected with our real life problems. For example, in math, we are learning a plus b square is equals to a square plus b square plus 2ab. Now, this is very interesting problem, but question is until we relate it to real life experience. I'll give you uh, in some of the NCRT book, whenever they are introducing a subject, they are also giving case studies. For example, uh, when there was a discussion on water, the question is, has anybody died because of thirst in area like Rajasthan and Gujarat, which are water starved? No, because they plan their water. Even if they have to go to a distance to fetch a water, they are managing their water. But the problem comes in area which is more riverine. And fortunately, unfortunately, if it doesn't rain, those people cry foul because they have not valued water and they do not know how to respond to a situation when there is less water. Now, question is, if we tell these things to the students so that they can connect what is the importance of water, why water need to be conserved, why we should not pollute water, and where are our rivers today, how they are going tomorrow. So that thing is possible. So my idea is that when we are going to the students, we if we start connecting each subject with the society, with the social challenges, with the market requirement, that helps them in better understanding the subject much more. It is a time of like personalized everything, personalized medicines, personalized advertisement. You know what advertisement you see on your screen, I don't see. It's all personalized because algorithm has worked out what is required, what do you need. What now coming to your second part, I fully agree. Basic research or blue sky research is need of the day. uh, I have my own example. Aryabhatta discovered zero, and it was a great piece of academic research which helped us in multiplication and division. It made it so easy, and Aryabhatta never thought it could be applied. But today, when I'm talking to you through the computers using binary system, zero has its application. Today, all our digital platforms are using that binary system, and zero is very much useful. Zero is applied. So we do not know when the knowledge which is gained through the basic experience could be applied. Time will come, somebody else will do the application, but your job is to generate and create new knowledge, and somebody else may come and make the applications. So that is possible. So, but is not a country which is very rich, and somebody else will solve our problems. And we need to find solutions to most of our challenges through application of technologies. And that is possible only by research. So we would, I would urge that our researcher must be aware why they are doing research and for whom it is going to be useful. Of course, in the process, you are developing knowledge, you are creating knowledge, you are getting new piece of information, which is wonderful. But your research must be of use. Otherwise, it remains as an academic book. Thank you.
I agree. Thank you. Thank you for that, sir. Nivedita, I'm over to you. I'm sorry for stealing the show.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Vashni. Now, Vashni sir, just to understand that students have different interest and companies have different job roles. So just make us understand that how can companies leverage data-driven approaches and predictive analytics to identify emerging talent trends and align their recruitment efforts with candidate interest.
Well, thank you, Nivita ji, for this interesting question, which I feel is extension of my discussion a little earlier, as I was talking about the personalized choices. So today, algorithm allows us to make our pinpointed choices, but then human behavior is very dynamic, and we may behave much differently than the machine may predict. You know, I'll give one more example. Today, in a world when we are being getting a lot of knowledge, especially our students, our not let us not talk about the student. Our patients are getting a lot of information. They are not going to doctor just like they were going earlier. They would first Google out their symptoms. They will take help of platform like ChatGPT to analyze them, what those symptoms means, and then they will go to the doctor. But don't you feel they will never take treatment given by ChatGPT or any other AI platform? They would go to the doctor, consult, because what AI platform can give you is a calculated average solutions. They may not give you highly personalized solutions, because doctor will need to understand what is your family, what is your genes history, what kind of diseases you have been carrying, what could be the implication of new disease you are under, you've just been exposed to, and then it goes further. So similarly, the market. Now we must understand industry has, if I could use that word, they want to serve the society, but simultaneously they would like to make an earning out of this survey. And our academics must take into account what our industries need, and they could prepare students. Of course, in a class, when teacher teaches, it is teaching to the class, and each student behave differently or scores differently or understand, grasp differently. And now based on that performance, so a lot of data driven analysis are available now, and companies and universities both can make use of how these need to be further taken up. And what I feel in time to come, more and more emphasis would be uh, on these solutions, on these approaches. However, these would be only suggestive, and final decision has to be taken by the recruiter. What kind of uh, student or what kind of new worker they are looking for. Thank you.
Great, sir. Great, sir. So you said it that every human is different, and so is the his approach also. So now moving ahead with the same trend, Dr. Mahesh, as I said that their approach is also different. Every human is different, and their approach is also different. So, what retention challenges do companies commonly face in today's competitive market, and how can mobilization strategies help address these challenges?
Well, today's world is more connected than ever, thanks to the internet. So any good thing happening in one organization will get spread to the other organization in a matter of probably fraction of a second through WhatsApp or whatever. Some bad thing happens, that also gets spreads through, right? So today there are multiple challenges each of these companies face. One is the employee engagement. So the employee need to be engaged today to see to it that the employee stays in the company for long. And then there is lack of career development. People are treated like if you treat somebody like a worker, they will never stay. So you need to have a calculated career development plan for each of the individuals. Then you have to maintain work-life balance. See, especially after the COVID, what has happened is that people are preferring to work from home or opting for hybrid work model or whatever. You have seen what happened in the IT industry when people are forced to come back to work. So people resisted and many attrition started very high. And then the companies had to immediately change their game plan and then had to go for hybrid work model. And similar way, so the work people are more interested today in work-life balance. The companies need to be very careful of this. And then the compensation and benefits. So the whatever compensation and benefits are there in the industry today, that need to be benchmarked, and then every organization should see to it that their compensation and benefits are either equal or better than their competitors or better than the industry. Then there is a lack of recognition syndrome that each and every employee feels. So there need to be proper rewards and recognition tool to retain these people. Then there is leadership and management. Poor leadership will obviously lead to a lot of attrition and a lot of chaos in the organization. So the organization need to have proper leadership at any one point of time. And as far as mobilization strategies are considered, I feel there are challenges, and we can improve uh, these drawbacks through mobilization strategies. One, I will say, time them with development programs for employees to build the loyalty. Then the second one, which I will say, is career pathways and mentorship program for employees' professional growth. And then there is flexible work arrangement, as I said, work from home, hybrid work, etc. And there are women employees who come after maternity. Maybe they need little empathy in terms of probably giving them half day work from home, or maybe a few hours of flexibility in terms of coming to office or going home little earlier, or maybe extend their lunch hour to go home and feed the kid or whatever. And then as I said, competitive compensation and benefits. Then positive company culture. This plays a very, very important role. The companies need to ensure that they foster an inclusive and positive workplace culture that values diversity, collaboration, and employee well-being. And lastly, I feel rewards and recognition program to boost their morale and motivate the employees.
That was so true. Of course, post-COVID, these are the only tools left with us so that we can really retain the good employees with us. Mr. Lalit Singh, I just wanted to understand that what role does workforce as a solution was play in enhancing efficiency and effectiveness in the recruitment and placement process?
So workforce for any organization are like building blocks for the organization, because they are the working hands who work through any problem that you have, right? Workforce as a solution does what? It gives you flexibility as employer. So if you look at today's shrinking scenarios, in the where the margin king, people are becoming lean. Manufacturing are also talking about a lot of lean technology and all of that. It is very important to be able to ramp up your capabilities and shrink down as and when you want. People, the companies like Meraki, who are working in this bridging gap scenario, what we do, we work with multiple clients, right? So, for example, if you are talking about FMCG, we are working with, let's say, Britannia, working with Asian Paints, we are working with the Unilever and the names of the world. I, as a pool of candidate, I'll be able to maintain as and when whatever need of a client is, accordingly, I'll be able to decrease and increase the workforce with them. That is what we technically call as workforce as a solution. So I have workforce maintained, a pool maintained with me, and for whatever scenario, for Diwali, for Ugadi, or anything wherever you want to ramp up your capabilities, workforce is skilled workforce is available for your need. And whenever you believe that now your the festival has gone and you feel that now I need to scale down my capabilities, I can pick up that workforce and deploy at a client site where maybe there is a new plant coming up or there is a new client who has come up and so on and so forth. I'm in a better position to be able to ensure that workforce is employed all the time, while clients have the flexibility and freedom to scale up and scale down. That I mean that we as industry mean by workforce as a solution. And if you use technology, you will be able to do that at large scale. Yeah, so that's how you are able to help in recruitment and sourcing capabilities.
That's a wonderful solution as far as workforce is concerned. At the same time, the client service is concerned. Uh, Moving ahead, now invite Dr. Karthikeyan. So, Dr. Karthikeyan, what initiatives have you implemented to support students' career development and enhance their employability, particularly in addressing retention challenges?
Okay. So I'm going to take this in two bits. So, and I am going to be very close to Mr. Lalit in this. So I believe technology is what is the solution. And we've used quite a bit of technology here at IIM Sirmore. So the first thing that we've done this year is we've basically onboarded an app. We have a vendor, KidX by Master Naukri. So they have helped us build this app from scratch. And this app is basically installed on all our students' phones. So now when they are there in the internship, essentially we have projects for them and we expect them to fill up videos and send it back to us. So even while they are there during their internship, which is a 2 month period when they're there in the industry, they keep giving us feedback on what exactly are the challenges that they're facing, what exactly are the learnings that they're facing, and we give them constructive feedback in exchange. Now, this helps them make the most of out of the internship. And considering that internships are like the point about the internship on your CV, that's what 50-60% of the time during your final interviews is going to be about. And if you do a really good job in your internship, it's going to start showing in the final interviews. So this is one initiative that we've done. In addition to this, we've also done quite a bit of machine learning and modeling. So what we've done is we have a Bayesian model, which helps us understand how exactly our students are faring over time when new companies keep coming in, and which kind of students fit into which kind of companies. And basis that, we optimize our outreach effort. Now, this is something that we've not done in the past, because in the past, what we used to do is we have this list of 500 companies that we want them to come to our campus, and we keep going back to them. And then 250 of them do come back to campus. But now what's happening is we know exactly for the profile of students we have, which companies are the ones that we have most likelihood of conversion. So we do have some backdated data for 2 years based on when the interviews happened, on what day, in which phase they went, in which phase they failed. That information is there with us. We have the CVs, we also have the job descriptions, and then we managed to create a fit basis quite a few criteria that we have from the internal repository of information that we have. In addition to this, I think as far as retention is concerned, we have built a web scraping model. We are scraping data from the internet. We're trying to find out if how frequently are our students shifting jobs. And that's something that we're trying to do as a part of a research here by the OB and HR departments as well. And what we want to do is basically position our institute, IIM Sirmore, as a place where recruiters can come and they will have students who are going to be better fits. Now, we don't want to go ahead and fight that CTC battle, because to have a high CTC is just a function of how many outliers you have. Now, essentially, you have enough engineers, you're obviously going to have a high CTC, but not every institute has the same level of CTCs, right? But it's one number and it becomes very glamorous to compare that number. So just now when we were talking, there was a video that went out by a YouTuber in which they were comparing CTC numbers and basically saying we're not amongst the highest. Now, which is completely fine. We're not fighting for having the highest CTC, but think about it this way. As an institution, are we able to keep an institutional promise with our recruitment partners? And can we use technology to actually ensure that our students are going to be there more because we've had a better, more intimate connection with the recruitment partner? That's a question that we're actually answering right now. And I think we're doing pretty good progress. The next year, we'll have more initiatives. They're already in the pipeline. And I think only time will tell what we're going to do.
All the very best, perhaps it is going to give you wonderful results.
Thank you.
So now, as Dr. Karthikeyan said, that students have different opinion as far as their choices are concerned. Sometimes they do go for highest salary package, and sometimes they go for job profile as such. But my question to Dr. Vasne, see, as we were discussing earlier also that industry is looking for manpower, and then there are students who said there is no job for them. So there is a huge gap. I mean, industry has, they are looking for manpower, but these students, they are either unemployed or underemployed. So, Dr. Vashne, I just wanted to understand that what is the difference between unemployment and underemployment, and how companies can address these challenges through targeted interventions.
Yeah, actually, unemployment, I think all of us understand, is not being able to secure bread and butter for himself and his family. That's the simplest definition I feel of the unemployment. And you feel a pinch because you have been given a training, you have completed a course, and despite that course, you are unemployed. And what I feel that in India, when you say about a degree, what you have acquired, what kind of a skill set you have acquired, it's not complete until you suffix it from which institution you have done it. For example, BTech from IIT is different from BTech from NIT. BTech, it is different from BTech from Central University, State University, private universities, unknown universities. So recruiters do not have the kind of confidence, the same amount of confidence which they should have with any BTech graduates. And that is something leading to lot and lot unemployment. Today, I have read somewhere that India has largest number of unemployable graduates. This is something to worry because we have got institutions which are not focused on education, but on providing degrees. So I could call them graduate producing factories. I'm sorry, it's a very strong word, but that is how it is that several of our institutions, they don't want to fail their student. They don't want to, because money matters and they want to retain that number. So they are making them graduate without assuring that they have got the required skill set. And that is why there is a huge differentiation between the graduates of different genre of institutions. And that is something on unemployment. Underemployment means I always feel that until you enjoy your work,
Is it working?
I think we lost in between.
Yeah, I think there was a problem. right?
Shiva, please check with Dr. Vashni. We last
I'm
met
checking.
with him.
Yeah, I'm checking. Ma'am, please continue with another guest. I'm checking with sir.
Sure. So meanwhile, when till the time Dr. Vashni is joining, now I would invite
I'm
Dr.
back
Mahesh.
now.
Oh, okay, fine.
Yeah, I'm
Yes, please.
power tripping in my area, so I have to use now my phone. So what I was saying that until you start enjoying your work, you remain underemployed. So you may be recruited by a very good company, but the assignment you have got to handle is not something which goes in your heart, and you are working like a robot. Then it is, I would say, underemployment. And what Lalit said a little earlier, how why people are leaving because they feel that they are underemployed, even though it is the conditions of their food, it may be condition of their living in the neighborhood that could affect, but they are not delivering their best. That is true because they have a passion for something and their company has asked them to do something else. And I have my own personal example. My daughter joined a multinational. And then she realized that even after 1 year, she was doing the same job which she started with. And she felt that she has stopped learning new things. So she may be mastering one particular thing, but she's not learning new things. So she felt she's not she's not fully employed. She was not giving her heart. So she came out of that job. So people, our youngsters these days are not only going for the money, they are looking for so many comfort factor in their jobs, be it their living conditions, be their food, be their work in the workplace. And if it matches, they go ahead. So I think we need to understand, and HR in different company need to talk to these fellows and see after every 3 months, after every 6 months, or whatever periodicity the company decides, to make sure that they are still working in the area they are interested in. And what is the possibility? And if they are being placed in some other company field, because that may be the company requirement, then HR should have a healthy discussion why that area where they are being posted, they could contribute the best. I think that is how we could address this challenge. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Vashni. Very well answered. Now, moving ahead, as Dr. Vashni has also said that there is a huge, no, there are students who are looking for some other comfort and other benefits while at the time of joining the companies. So, from your experience, what role does diversity and inclusion plays in attracting and retaining top talent? And what initiatives have you seen yield positive result in this area?
See, the diversity and inclusion plays a very critical role in today's world, especially, you know, that we have seen women in combat roles today. Women are there everywhere, and rightly so. And the government is also giving a lot of weightage for this. I feel for as far as the corporate world is considered, it helps in building broader talent pool. It helps in enhanced the innovation and creativity. Then it gives probably improved employer reputation and branding, which is very critical today in the corporate world. Unless you have a good corporate brand, you may not be able to attract good talent. And it also gives better retention rates and initiatives which I feel can yield positive results in diversity and inclusion are like diverse recruitment practices, like you hire from NGOs, industry associations, etc. And then inclusive policies and practices. It's not enough if you onboard a woman into the office, but if the policies are not favorable, or policies are not equal, then it will fail. So you need to have inclusive policies and practices. Then training and education, providing diversity and inclusion training for employees and leadership helps raise awareness and promotes inclusive behavior throughout the organization. And the mentorship and sponsorship program to help employees from diverse backgrounds advance in their careers and gain access to opportunities they might not have otherwise. And inclusive leadership. It is not enough if people are recruited at the bottom level and there is no one at the leadership level. So I remember one of the organizations where I was working, the board consisted of probably 10% of the women, and then the rest of them are all male. So it ended up the one of the lady objected to this, or she asked a valid question, why is this so? So then by the I think year or two, the composition had changed dramatically. So by implementing some of these initiatives, I believe maintaining a committed and diversity and inclusion, company can attract and retain top talent while fostering a culture of innovation and respect.
That's wonderful to understand. Moving ahead, Mr. Lalit, uh, how can organizations leverage tech-enabled solutions to bridge the skill gap and ensure that candidates are adequately prepared for the demands of the job market?
Hmm. Um, so picking up from a lot of nuggets from the earlier speakers, let me tell you one very important point, which is not theoretically and not to be theoretically understood, but practically, if you understand, the gap is that there is a certain way candidates are ready as of today. They're not work ready, as Dr. Sanjay was also trying to address. They're not work ready. They are ready with some graduation program, some degrees, right? If you look at the clients, there is a certain need and there is a gap. There is a skill gap. That's a skill gap that we are talking about. How do we address that? Humanly, you can't pick up. I'll give you a live example. And sorry for my practical examples, because what I work on day in, day out is where I can connect myself quickly, and probably that's the practical insight you are looking for also from me. So one of the programs that we launched is called Hashtag through our company called First Mile. So through Hashtag, what we do, we try to minimize this skill gap. So there are thousands of applications that we have received. Now, how do you do that humanly? How do you understand customized solutions for individual students? How do you make them skill ready? How do you make them client work ready for the client? How do you do that? That is where again your AI and technology plays a lot of role. So there are solutions available where you can do a coding related test, right? Test for the candidates. There is even from Naukri, there is a product called Do Select. So you can use that product and give them a task. There is a code base that they have to work on, and hence they write the codes. Knowing the efficacy of the codes, knowing where they fumbled, knowing where they excelled, the program itself will be able to give you a uh, customized course that they need to undergo to be able to be ready for the work that they are going to perform. And on the back end, so if you look at the typical institutes, and I'm not pointing out to one single one, today the way even the paid institutes, the way they run the programs, more often than not, it's a factory. For them, that's how they earn the fees. Until they understand that the real need is at client's place, and if they are not still ready for the client's absorption, you haven't done your job, and today or tomorrow you will fail. You will go into oblivion. You will become part of one of the history which is not remembered. If you can understand this one piece, that you are able to bridge exactly the gap that clients are looking for, or you will be the one who is sought after institute. I can tell you that. So So what happens? The people like us who are also sort of employers, right? What we do, we go back to clients, we kind of take a LOI from them. What are the kinds of students you are looking for? So in this hashtag program that I was talking about, a lot of clients have shown advanced interest in generative AI programs. We all know the chat GPTs of the world, and I know, and data science, data analytics. There is a buzz around it. There are thousands of courses who have been floated around to teach data sciences. But there is a data analytics, there is a data science, there are generative AI tracks. All of these tracks needs to be understood, and accordingly, program needs to be designed. All the clients don't need experts of data science. Most of the clients don't need that. What they need are basic training. In the 4-year curriculum that a lot of BSc plus data science programs that even IITs run, I'm taking this name, I see a lot of gap. As an employer, because I am practically on ground, I am doing that. Thank you, Elise. Elisa, I know she called us Superman of the world, recruitment world. That's exactly what we do. Today, we have employed 25,000 candidates with us day in, day out. They are working for the client. So we have a direct pulse from them. Please understand, these courses need to take a turn to identify the real work ready programs, and once you are able to design your courses according to that, it will fly high, and probably you won't need any mediators to make that true match happen. So just to converge what I was trying to say, I'm saying that there are gaps. Individuals are different. Because of tech and AI, you will be able to understand where they stand as of today. You know the goal, you know the destination, what client is looking for, the work ready material. Fill this gap. So these AI programs, they will be able to create customized courses candidate wise. And then obviously you need to take a giant leap, use a lot of technology to be able to fill this gap, and finally deploy them at client side. The preparation should be such that you have deployed these candidates today at client side. From tomorrow, they should be able to work for the cause that the client has taken them for. If you can do that as an institute, to have succeeded in your job. That's my take.
Yes, sir. We do understand that we need to really uh, develop need-based study program, that too with the student aspiration as per the industry demand. So now moving ahead, I would like to ask Dr. Karthikeyan, you know, that we are here to make students employable, and that is why we are discussing about this training program. And perhaps this could have been the objective why the various statutory has put this thing internship as an integral part of their curriculum. So just trying to understand that what is the importance of internship in providing practical experience and skill development for students, and how companies can maximize the value of internship program.
Okay, so this is a two-sided question. You have to speak about both the student as well as the company. From the side of the student, I think most of the students who join at least an MBA program these days, they are freshers. And you will see that across all IIMs, SPJN and MIMS, a lot of people are young people who've never had any work experience. Now that means they have never reported to any person, and they've never had any person reporting to them. And that puts them in a very interesting sort of situation. So they'll need to have that experience of actually having taken ownership for a project and actually having delivered it. So the internship, I think, does much more to the students' learning than even all the classes put together, because it is during the internship that they really understand what it means to do work. The classes give them the focus, they give them maybe say a 1 year, 2 year head start because the theoretical knowledge is there. But it is the internship that helps them actually understand and situate themselves in a larger business. So I think internship that way is very useful for the student. Now coming to the other side, from the perspective of an employer, so there is this idea called signaling. So there's an economist. There was an economist, Michael Spence. In 1983, he wrote this paper called Job Market Signaling, and that's where most of the signaling idea comes from. And in the paper, he basically says, uh, for someone to actually acquire a degree, they need to have been of a better quality. Now, it is the fact that a person of better quality finds it easier to get a degree that actually makes the degree worth it. Otherwise, the degree is just a piece of paper. Right. So Michael Spence later on went on to get the Nobel Prize for exactly this particular idea. And signaling theory was later kind of spoken about in biology, in mathematics, in business, signaling warranties as signals. All of that was actually discussed. But think about it from a HR's perspective. In a 40-minute interview, which is very, very generous to say, it is almost impossible for this HR manager to actually find out a good candidate, because it's possible for a person to be sufficiently well prepared to do well in that 40-minute interview because they know everything. Now, if you go to the internet, there are companies which will tell you this is what they're going to ask you. These are the questions that they're going to do it. They'll coach you. They'll have people who can help you with that. So essentially, a person can be kind of prepared for that. But in an internship, which lasts 2 months, 3 months, it's impossible for someone to be prepared like that. If they're prepared and their attitude shows and they're in a position to deliver that kind of value, then definitely what happens is they will think, okay, this person has signaled to me a certain inherent quality, and therefore this person is good, and therefore let me take him. So if you're really looking at the HR's perspective, internship is like God sent because they are giving them real projects and they're giving only a fraction of the money that they would pay for a full-time employee. And if the student does well, and if the student shows inclination, you have a motivated, fully functional, and a dynamic individual who's willing to work with the organization and has exhibited and put the work in order to work with the organization. So I think more and more companies should pick up students via the internship route. And I think that's really happening these days. Now, if you look at it, this year, Flipkart has stopped hiring, using campus interviews. They only hire via the internship route or the competition route. And the same thing applies for many of the top companies. They do not want to hire using the regular interview route anymore because they're seeing the gains coming out of an internship route is much, much better than actually going and doing this sort of 20-30 minute interview and a bunch of other processes in GD and things like that. Yeah, does that answer your question?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
perfect. So now we have discussed so many things. I think that I should again invite Dr. Vashni for his last uh, comment on the today's in this today's meet. Dr. Vashni, you know, getting a job and really, doing wonders in the career is something that everybody aspires. And then we, as a training and placement officer, we used to teach the students that how they can really progress in their career and how can they can be more employable. But we feel that networking facility is something which every student should really leverage a lot so that they can progress in their career. So my question is there are two questions in it. One is that how this networking facilities of job research and career advancement can help the candidates. And second, from the HR perspective, that how what challenges and these companies are facing while they are trying to get the best of the talent from the colleges.
Well, I would like to take your second question first and thank Karthik that he said it very clearly that a 40-minute interview versus 2 month long interview, what do you prefer? And how do you observe? Because recruitment is also needs to be planned very strategically. And you have to see what are the expectation of candidate, what are the expectation of HR, what is the requirement of company, and then you have to mix with the enthusiasm of the candidate and the analytical of the recruiter, and then come out with a situation which could help company. So a lot of exercise is needed, and networking helps a lot. Because why are you networking? Because you are trying to find people who are working in close proximity to your work, and you try to gain or learn from each other. Sometimes what we are doing even at school student level, when we are preparing for the annual examinations, what we are doing, we are dividing the syllabus. Like there is a group of 4 friends, so they divide the entire syllabus into 4 parts, and they say that you are the master of part 1, you are the master of part 2. It does not mean that other friends will not study that part. They will, but the fellow who has been given responsibility would defend that any question on that part, and that is how in a lesser time you can prepare the entire syllabus. Now networking gives you exactly that approach, that you have a big question, big problem, big challenge, and each stakeholder divides. Now each stakeholder is different in terms of knowledge, in terms of experience, in terms of working environment, and each one brings their own value set. And networking helps you connect the dotted area. So you, whatever you may be missing in your own institution, in your own company, you can get access to through a network partner. So I feel networking is rather important. It helps you grow with your peers, with your nearest rivals, and you understand from each other's experience, and it takes you forward. Thank you.
Absolutely perfect, sir. Networking is important. So, moving ahead, again, uh, uh, Dr. Mahesh, lot has been said about internship and networking. And now I think that you are the right person where I can really request that can you share that what is the future of Industry Academy Alliance in addressing unemployment and underemployment challenges? And what role can companies play in fostering these collaborations?
See, the future of Industry Academia Alliance is very crucial for addressing unemployment and underemployment challenges. Uh, this provides companies with a steady pipeline of talent. Unemployment and underemployment can be addressed through number one, curriculum alignment. Collaborations can help align academic curriculum with industry strengths and requirements. This ensures that student graduates with relevant skills and knowledge. Then the second one, which I want to talk, is on the work-based learning opportunities, like internships and apprenticeships offered through these alliances provide students with a real-world experience and practical skills, which otherwise they would not have got it. And third one, job placement support. Industry academia partnerships can facilitate job placements for graduates by connecting them directly with potential employers. Then the skill development. These collaborations can lead to development of training programs and certification that benefits both students and industry professionals. Now I'm coming to role of companies in fostering collaborations. It actually helps companies establish partnerships with educational institutions to co-develop courses, programs, and research initiatives. Offer internships and apprenticeship program by providing students with hands-on work experience. Companies help them transition from academia to the workforce. Then participate in curriculum design. So the companies can provide input on course content and skills training to ensure alignment with the industry needs. Then uh, they can provide sponsorship and scholarship to the students. And then job placement initiatives can be done with this collaboration. In summary, I say that Industry Academia Alliance can play a very pivotal role in preparing students for the workforce, thereby addressing the unemployment and underemployment challenges.
Very apt, sir. Very apt. So, moving ahead, Mr. Lalit, so what do you feel? I mean, looking ahead, what trends do you foresee shaping the future of HR and talent management? And how can companies prepare to stay ahead of the curve?
I think there will be a lot of use of technology and AI. It is only going to increase from here, and rightly so. So we have to be ready. We have to be ready with, for taking plunge into newness, plunge into use of a lot of technology and AI solutions. It is important that you get ready with these tools. If you don't, you will be kind of, swiped from the market. It is very important that you understand that the world is shaping. It cannot be, and you cannot operate on the same rules that you are operating yesterday. What will you get out of it is a two-edged sword, I'll say. So on one side, there is always that threat, perceived threat, that a lot of jobs will go. A lot of jobs will go because AI will replace a lot of mundane tasks that people have been performing, till date. But on the other hand, if you remember the era of steam engines and transition into electricity, 99% people said that at that point of time there were a lot of strikes and uh, revoking around nahi chahiye, you have to go back to the old era of steam engines. And it is a truth of the matter that a lot of people got jobless at that point of time. But today, sitting here, any one of us, any probably a single person in his insanity won't advocate to go back to steam engine. There are reasons, and there are right reasons why it should be so. Electricity is so important, and because of electricity, there are mobiles, there are what not. I can go on and on, but the point is that electricity has ensure that there are a lot of new jobs, and those jobs today is where millions of people are employed worldwide. So any evolution looks tumultuous, looks like there will be challenges. There are upheavals that you have to pass through, but unfortunately, fortunately, they are for right reasons. And probably as society, we need to sustain together. We need to stick together, help each other in whatever form we can. So one of the ways we can do is probably skilling the people who are today unemployable, skill them for right jobs which might be relevant tomorrow, and then they are employed again because they have basic skills. One of the speakers spoke about saying that when you are a fresher, you don't know, you have never worked in an environment. So those learnings are now with you. Just that you need a technical skill. You need to just learn a new skill. So get them ready for that. Get ready, as HR organization, as recruitment organization, you should be ready for skilling, reskilling, upskilling your candidates. And once you have been able to do that, and once you have passed through this phase of unevenness, I'll say, you will get into a new era, an era of AI, an era where you will have a freedom to express, you will have better working conditions. We know there were people who used to pull the rickshaws, right? The humans who are doing that, and today there are auto rickshaws who have replaced that. So it is not for bad reason. All these AI tools have also come for us to elevate to next level, where we can do more meaningful work, instead of meaningless mundane tasks that we have been performing as humans, something that can be outsourced to computers and robots. So let them do what they can do. There are tons of things that they cannot do, even if they want to do. The emotional quotient that we have, the way we can challenge ourselves, we can get ready for adversities that keep coming to us. All of that makes us still the most important, the most vital cog in the scheme of things for any organizational growth. Let us be just ready, and let us get ready for the next phase. Welcome to the world of 2.0, I'll say. And I believe it's only for the right reasons, and there is a better world waiting for us. Thank you.
Absolutely right. Absolutely perfect. That we need to prepare for industry 2.0. Now, yes, as a human, we need to understand our strength. We need to realize our strength, realize our resources, and accept our flaws and make efforts to overcome it. And I think the 21st century skill is to be a lifelong learner. If at all we can develop these students as a lifelong learner, perhaps we have already won the half better. So now the last input from Dr. Karthikeyan. See, You, I mean, what is the biggest opportunity and challenges for students entering the job market, and how can companies and educational institutions work together to address these issues?
The biggest opportunity. Could you repeat the question? The biggest opportunity, the biggest obstacle for students?
Biggest opportunity and challenges, both.
Challenge for students. Okay. Uh, yeah. So what is the biggest challenge? So I think students, their myopia is their biggest challenge. They basically are very short-sighted, and wanting to look a little bit farther away, I think is probably the biggest challenge that we face. But I think there's a lot of things that industry and academia can do together to actually work this. So I can give you a few nice examples from my own past. So in IIM Calcutta, where I come from, there used to be this course called Marketing as Practice. So Marketing as Practice was this 20-hour long course where every class was taught by a different industry expert from HUL. And the course itself was taught by HUL. So essentially what happened is over the course of the course, uh, the faculty members would understand what kind of students are there and which of the students would actually be a good fit for the organization. So that way at the course level, they got integrated. Now, if you really take this forward much greater, today, if you look at institute like say Masters Union, they are doing this only. Essentially getting the industry person only to come and then teach the whole course. And that way they make this marriage between industry and academics happen. The other thing that can also happen between industry and academia is this idea of live projects. A lot of companies today come up with small projects which are manageable by a group of students, 3, 4 students, and they give it to the students. And I think the students also learn a lot over the process of doing that live project. And as the live project moves further, I think they also convert it into an internship, and then eventually it becomes a PPO type operation. So organ institutes should actually encourage the live project thing. So if you can speak to companies, and maybe if there are lots of faculty members, have the faculty members consult with companies, document the problems that they have, and package it in a nice live project type format, and then give it to students in exchange for either CV points or money and CV points. Students are more than happy to go ahead and pick up these projects and then show that they really can deliver. Now, that way, what happens is there's a marketplace for different opportunities, and students can pick and choose what opportunity they want. And you see that also helps you focus your academics in a certain way. Another interesting idea that academics and industry can do is this thing called industry immersion. So very often what happens is on the first class and in the last class of any particular course, we get the same person, same guest to come back again. Now that means the first class is opened up by a guest. He talks about the problems, and then the rest of the 20 sessions, 18 sessions are covered by the course faculty. And in the last class, once again, the same guest comes in, and then the bridge, the delta X between what was originally understood and what is now understood is actually explored. Now, I think these are things that we do here at Times and More, but there are other players who do other things which are more advantageous. But I really think the answer is not a one size fits all approach. Just because these ideas work for us, it doesn't mean it has to work for someone else. And just because there's some other idea that works for someone else, it doesn't mean it has to work for us. So essentially, you'll have to figure out from the kind of students you have, what is the best sort of opportunity that you can open up for them. And the more the doors that you open up for your students, I think as a placement chairperson, you've done your job. And I think that's what students also like, because if you have a fair policy and if you're in a position to show them that these are things that you can do and guide them in the way and shepherd them in some way or the other, I think students are very happy about it. They're not really chasing money only, but they're also chasing job satisfaction, because the bad stories from the senior batch, they definitely come back. And students immediately know about how, in exchange for a lot of CTC, the student actually had to suffer. And this thing comes back. So they're looking for job satisfaction now, and I think that's a good sign. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, yes. Of course, the mindset has been changed now. It's not only CTC, but of course, job satisfaction become a more important thing as far as student aspiration is concerned. So, with this, I am about to conclude this session. It was wonderful talking to the star-studded panel here. And as just brief it, Dr. Vashne spoke about the need of the changes in the curriculum, and that too in the as per the requirement of the industry, and how we are supposed to push the students to go for a meaningful and purposeful research that can solve the problems of society in general. And if it Dr. Mahesh Bhatt, he spoke about the various initiatives the company takes for retaining and attracting the talents, and it speaks what I can understand from Dr. Mahesh Bhatt answers, that the opportunity to grow, the opportunity to have better work-life balance, the opportunity to have recognition and reward is something that is paving a right way of retaining the right pool in the companies. And Dr. Lalit, sorry, Mr. Lalit, he spoke about the role of technology in managing the problem faced by the companies, and at the same time by the various placement cell of the colleges, and how he also gave that how he is managing this workforce as a solution. No, this is something which is very unique, and it should be appreciated. Perhaps this is something which we require because we are a nation of a big population. So therefore, it becomes a quite challenge to really make every employable candidate to be on job. It's a big challenge to us. So lastly, Dr. Karthikeyan, you spoke up about a lot of activities that you are doing for the students to really grow and develop and check out their career plan as well, and your insight on the internship and the importance of life project, and of course that how you are managing to understand their strength and weakness and their aspiration, and then how you are developing a training program is wonderful and it should be appreciated. Thank you so much. With this, I like to thank UptoSkills Shivam and Eliza and the entire team, all the stars study panel. Thanks a lot. And this is all from the host of today's meet, Dr. Nivedita. Now I am handing over the mic to Eliza.
Thank you so much, Nivedita ma'am, for your hosting. And so, well, it's a great and valuable insights from the audience and the speakers. So, as I can see that many of the audience are since starting of the session, so I would like to ask if any of the question they would put on to with the speakers. I can see the Kshitij ma'am is asking something at beginning of the session. So, did you have any queries, ma'am? Yes, please. I can see the Mr. Shivam sir has raised the hand. Please go ahead if you would like to ask anything.
Anyone can ask the question first, and okay, Eliza. Anyone is there?
Yeah. Bhaktveer sir is there with us. You want to ask something? Yeah, please.
Good afternoon to all of you. My question is regarding Tier 3 cities where MBA programs and BTech programs are running. And the Bala sir just highlighted the importance of the internship for students, and internship opportunities are not available in Tier 3 cities. So what's the solution for in that sort of condition? To Bala sir.
Okay. Hi. So yeah, speaking of Tier 3 cities, we are also in a Tier 3 city, so it's definitely there. The internship does not necessarily have to happen while they're there at home. So one of the most important learnings that they have is also to kind of immerse themselves in the organization, right? I'm not very familiar with how the BTech thing happens, but I can tell you it's very similar between BTech and MBA also. You do send them out. you do arrange for them to go to another place and then have the internship done. So this time, I think one thing that we did is we've spoken to every other institute in the country, in major cities, and we've told them that we would like our students to come for internship to say Gurgaon, but can MDI give its hostels for us for a duration of 2 months. So now what happens in MDI Gurgaon, you have students of IIM Sarmor, Amritsar, Bodh Gaya, Lucknow, Indore, all of them come together and stay there in the same hostel. And from there, they go and do their internship. And I think by making these small deals with these institutes, and they're very open to giving it away. MDI's hostels are empty during this time and they will help you. Same thing with IIT Madras. We spoke to the director of IIT Madras and he was very happy and very hospitable and he opened up his gates for us. And same thing happened with NIT Trichy. So we have, as an organization, we have a lot of power that we don't use very often. So all it takes is for you to write an email or pick up the phone and speak to the director and then ask them, like, I have 5 students and I want them to come and work there. Can you make it more comfortable for them? And that way, what happens, these students get exposed to this new institute and the people who are there. And that also brings out a lot of learning for them. So if you're in a tier 3 city, the learning might actually be better. Like think about say Sirmaur, for instance, the nearest railway station is 70 kilometers away. The nearest airport is also 70 kilometers away, and we are as tier 3 as it gets, and we don't really see the problem with that. The only thing that I think is a disadvantage is maybe when the HR managers come, it becomes more difficult for them to kind of interview, right? Because they don't want to come all this distance just to make an internship interview. And I have a solution for that as well. And this is something that we've incorporated once again with our once again with our partner KidX, which I was telling you about. So what we did is for every student, we got a video resume built. So we have a 2-minute video resume, which is available with us. And instead of actually sending the entire student for an interview, what we do is we send the video resume. And then we ask them, click on these links. Our video resumes are there. Have a look. In case you like some of these students, because we think these are good fit for this particular role, we will shortlist them and then we'll arrange for an interview only with these people. That way, what happens, the screening time for the HR manager drops substantially. So the HR manager is no longer thinking, let me sit and take one full day to do the interview. Instead, what you say is, give me 2 hours and I'll help you find 4 good guys and I will be your partner in this process. And the moment you start saying that, the HR managers begin to fall in love with you. Right? So a little bit of investment in terms of homework from our side is also important. And I've seen that over the last 1 year when I've been place com chair, it's really helped.
Thank you so much, sir. It's a wonderful solution for tier 3 cities.
You're welcome.
And I'm adding to it, since I've also had training in placement, these days lots of support is given by AICT as well. They have this internship portal, and then there are a good number of companies who are coming up with this internship support. You can ask your students to get enrolled there, and probably they can get the options for internship or live project. It can be hybrid one, it can be online, physical, anyone, and then they can avail this facility. So internship is one such thing. Then AICT have this internship portal wherein student can log in. So there are good number of support in this way where students can really go and find the answer for the internship. Yes, please.
Thank you so much, ma'am, and thank you so much, Kartikeya sir, for your knowledge. And moving ahead towards the other member, if anyone would like to add on their views. You can also
I would like to ask Aliza.
Sorry?
I have some questions from each guest. So may I go ahead?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Aliza. It was very wonderful session. Thank you, Vashine sir. Thank you, Mahesh sir. Thank you, Lalit sir. Thank you, Kartikeyan sir, for attending this session. So we have talked more about skilling, industrial academy, but the problem we face, we talked about the job satisfaction and the CTC salary. So I have question from Dr. Vashine sir. Vashine sir, are there?
I'm there.
Yeah, thank you. Sir, you have also talked about your daughter, right? So we have trained a lot of candidates across India. We face the challenges like they don't know about any job role, especially in tier 3, tier 2 cities. They don't know about they just go for the CTC package. They have not particular skill set. They just want good salary package, 5 lakh CTC, 6 lakh CTC, even tier 3 in, they want 3 lakh CTC, but they don't have the skills to get the even 2 LPA CTC, right? But who will guide them? Nobody is going to take care. Like, yes, this is the job role, these kind of job roles are prevalent in the market, and who is going to tell them? Nobody is actually caring for them. Everybody is completing the course, completing the degree part. Nobody is talking about the career part.
Well, this is very interesting. And if I could talk about same daughter, uh, which I quoted earlier, Delhi hosts a lot of exhibitions, and one such exhibition is exhibition for canvassing for the admission to various foreign universities. So my daughter, when she was going there, she was asking what is the package she will get after doing a particular course. So when we came out of that exhibition, I asked her, you didn't ask the fellow what you are going to learn in this particular course. Why did you insist on what would be the package? You know, if you see our social setup, most of the time, our youngsters, especially after doing the graduations, do not want to remain dependent on their family, and they want to be independent financially. So they first thing they are looking for is a job or a startup. Some people are willing to join their family business or something like that. That is perfectly fine. But most of them are looking for some immediate placement. And problem which I was with Dr. Bala just discussed for people coming from tier 2 and tier 3 cities is lack of or maybe limited exposure. So they are not aware about the requirement of the companies. And I feel because university teachers, most of the time they would concentrate on their subjects, but each of them must be having a guy like Dr. Bala, Dr. Nivedita, who could tell them what are the market trends, how the student need to be oriented. But problem again comes that in tier 2 and tier 3 cities, even importance of a good HR fellow is not felt appropriate because they feel that they are already doing a lot by paying the teacher's salary for teaching a subject. And these are the auxiliary services. But these auxiliary services are now becoming mandatory services. And market trend need to be studied either by the faculty or by a guy independent of them who could advise faculty how to orient the students. And I would suggest that, of course, both Dr. Nivedita and Dr. Bala mentioned about various schemes, including one at major campuses and also by agencies like AICT. But even then, institute in second and third tier cities must try that their students should not remain restricted to their city. They must go to some other city and learn, because you see, if they are living in home comfort, they are not exposed to or they are not ready to face a new scenario when they go for job, and then they feel homesick. So issues like food, issue like accommodation may crop up. But if they have independently lived, even for a smaller period, for internship, for some assignment, they get exposed and they get trained. So I feel it's a combined responsibility of teachers and HR coordinator or placement officers to guide students about the emerging trends in the market. And also, uh, if I could say, I would urge each agency, each educational agency to run a course. What does it take when you start your journey from academics to corporate world? What kind of changes you should bring in your behavior, conduct, and approaches. So that would really help students. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. It was a very nice comment to say, actually. Uh, so I have a question with Dr. Mahesh, sir. Sir, we talk about lot of upskilling, reskilling, and all of these things. But we, as an industrialist, or we as a college authorities, we don't talk about the mismatch of skilling. Let's say the college has skilled properly their candidates, but industry, the particular industries, they are not finding properly. I mean, there is a complete mismatch of candidates. Candidates has another kind of interest in another kind of job, but due to salary package or due to any industry is coming to the campus placement, right? So they need to choose at least once, and they need a employment, right? So how to justify that this candidate should get these kind of skilled jobs that he or she has, basically?
See, I would like to say this. In most of the colleges, I face this question. I always tell them, grab whatever is available to you. Okay, you cannot say that. No, one of the guys told me saying that I'm a HR guy and I want to be in the HR discipline only. So I had a question to him saying that how many HR positions are there in a company? So there are very lesser number of HR companies, HR positions. So you cannot say that, no, I want to be only the HR. So another guy told me saying that, sir, I'm in finance. So what is the future? I said, future is always bright. Okay. So otherwise, many people would have committed suicide. So future always holds good things for everyone. So I told him, first thing is that my advice to any student is that whatever they get it, whatever job they get it, they should grab it. And then once they stabilize, then once they understand what is the industry, what is the how the pattern is there, then they can start changing their probably subject matter expertise. Maybe they can, in case they feel that they are good in sales, they can continue in sales. If they are good in probably HR, they can, by the time they would have built up their network, and they can slowly start getting in touch with those colleagues whoever is lucky. For example, somebody has done a HR but could not get a HR position, but one of his colleagues has got a HR position, maybe getting in touch with them and then trying to get a job in HR. So this way, I think people can get a job and then start stabilizing their career or grow. But in case somebody feels that they have one subject matter expertise in the very even before the first job and then want to get into that particular field only, I think it is not right.
Right, sir. But there is a point of view from the industry side as well. Let's say we hired a HR candidate, but he or she is not interested after getting the job. So there is a problem of retention just because of disinterest. So I have seen in Europe and US market, there is a new trend is going on. In India, generally what we do, hire, then we train, then we deploy to the work. In US and Europe market, there is a new trend is going on. First train them from the industry side, then choose that which candidate you need to hire, and then deploy. What do you think? Which model is perfect for the industry's point of view? The train hire or hire train?
So my question to you is, when did you last go to the tailor to stitch your clothes? Okay, everybody wants a ready-made shirt today. Let's not be under the impression saying that no, I will buy a cloth and then go to the tailor and then get my measurements done, wait for him to give the shirt, and then I will go and make modification to that, customize it. So I think those days are behind us. If you are comparing to Europe or Western countries, people are more interested in a temporary job there. People work on an hourly basis, or people work on a weekly basis, kind of a thing, and then they work for a specific number of weeks or specific number of months, and then they go on a Europe India tour or whatever tour they want to take, and that's it. So they don't we cannot compare their condition with India. So India, it is like if you don't have a permanent job, we cannot find even a alliance, right? So in the particularly in the northern part of the country, if you a person who is a general manager in Infosys may not get a girl, but a person who is a bus conductor, a government bus conductor will get a bride immediately, right? So India is different. So I feel that we cannot compare India to any other country.
Very well said, sir. Lalit sir, you face a lot of challenges in mobilization, do you?
Of course, that's
So,
like one of
wo-
the most important challenges.
yes,
Yes, please.
this is one of the challenge that you hire the candidates and candidates don't go to after hiring, after recruitment. So how to solve it? Because we have seen candidates has never seen the industries, right? They don't know what kind of work have to after hiring them, right? So is it possible that if during the college time, if candidate visit the industries, let's say if you have visited the 10 industries, whatever the clients you have, and after the candidate's interest is much higher than before, like yes, this kind of industry I want to join after completing my graduation or whatever their course. So do you think that this mobilization can be solved by more industrial visits?
So Shivam, what you are suggesting is, even if it's correct, it's more of impractical according to me. How many students you can take to industry and how many industries will be open to spend so much of time? I mean, if you are coming, so very difficult, it's not practical. What we have tried to do, we have tried to do a semi of this, sort of digital approach is what we call it, physical and digital mix. So what is important is for them to have a feel about where they are going, right? So we give them a login, and through that we try to send them as much of material, including the audio and video sessions, the overall view of how manufacturing location, for example, if it is manufacturing location, how does it look like? What are the kind of job is expected from him? Couple of right now working workers and what they feel about this job. What are things that they like? What are the things they don't like? All of that gives them a first-hand feel of how it will look like when they actually reach there. So that certainly is one important part of the problem, Shivam. But if you ask me, there are bigger problems. There are two big problems which you need to come over, and we tried to come over it in our own ways, and it has helped us a lot. The first issue is about trust, the mistrust that has created over a period of time. And mistrust also comes because of the unknown waters that you are entering in, which we are talking about right now, which we were trying to say that, can we bridge the gap through those mediums? Now, how do we do that? How do we bridge that gap of mistrust is by having some kind of some kind of, bridge that makes this interaction more possible. I'll come to that by asking about the second angle. The second angle is the human touch. Human touch. So these guys, so we had an example of general manager in a company. He won't need that kind of human touch. You can work in a remote environment and still you can be efficient if you have a clarity of thought and you are a self-motivated guy. But a guy who is just passed out, no idea of how the industry will look like and all of that, for him to take a plunge into unknown waters, starting from where he is to go to a manufacturing location where he has to be, or warehousing location, or a IT industry, it takes some courage, some internal courage. So that human touch, if someone being there on the ground and him saying that don't worry, kuch nahi hoga, that itself is, and no, right then and there he's having some physical. So as industries or as bridgers, what we call ourselves, Meraki. So Meraki physical touch points, and there are unique ways you try to solve it. You have tried to have some tie-ups who can be part of you. In fact, we are going ahead and now you are creating a very new model that you will see very soon, wherein we are actually having some kind of going to have some kind of physical presence till the rural segments, and that's possible. There is a way we have done that. So now imagine there is a Meraki board over there. Guy goes and someone is there to touch. Don't worry, I'm from your village, you know that, and you can bring your parents also, and then parents together they are kind of interviewing your guy. All are very happy. Now the guy is going. He knows that कुछ हुआ वहां तो यहाँ पे एक बंदा है जिसको मैं पकड़ सकता हूँ, right? So being able to bridge that gap of trust and human touch, that helps a lot. In past, a lot of local contractors have done messing up. A lot of they have done a lot of illegal or mal intent kind of activities which wasn't right, that has landed these candidates also into a very bad shape. Because of that, also they are quite hesitant about taking these kind of plunges. So all of that can be solved if you can do this kind of middle arrangement. And then there is a physical touch point, and there is an app. So on that app, he is able to clearly see this is the job that I am going to, these are the videos, and this is the kind of salary I'm going to get. इतना मेरा PF कटेगा, इतना ये होगा, और ये मेरा final हाथ में आएगा. That take home, and he can see the salary slips also. He also has facilities in terms of advanced salaries, all of that, and then there is a physical touch. This physical plus digital, the approach of bringing both together will give them a lot of this thing, and you will be able to scale at a large scale. Otherwise, you may talk good things about this, but your scale will remain limited to 20, 30, 100, 200 people. You can't do the thousands of numbers that we are, for example, doing it today. Hope
Right.
that
So
answers
Lalit,
your questions.
basically you have said human touch, brand value, and trust. These are the most important factors that even AI can't replace, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You need a hybrid model. You need a physical and digital. Digital is important if you want to scale. If you want to do good services at large scale, the only way is use AI, use digital. But hey, that's not the only thing. You need to have the that's the physical touch. You cannot replace that. Nothing can beat the warmth of a human touch. So you need to bring both together to be able to excel in what you're doing.
Right, right. Thank you so much, Lalisa. So, Karthikeyan sir, then we are talking about the AI era, right? Even the Wipro made a statement like 80% of IT jobs will be cut in the next 5 years in India. So, what do you think? Like, everybody is nowadays, even in IITs, IIMs, or tier 2, tier 3 cities, they want job candidates. I'm talking about the candidates want a job like in a AC room. We need a AC room. We need a job, and it should be a good package. And I don't need to very much hard work. Right? These are the sentiments. I don't know why. So, as a I am chief placement officer. So, sir, how much placement actually you have made in this year? Because
For
everyone says that every
Okay.
university says
Yeah,
that we have achieved 100% placement, right? Even IIM does not, or IIT does not do that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So yeah, so I can tell you, there are two types of placements. There is a summer placement and there is a final placement. For the summer placement, we've completed 100%. In fact, we were the first amongst the newer generation IIMs to complete. We finished it exactly on February 29th. So leap year, leaping on the leap year, that was our tagline. And we actually did much better than the previous year this time, right? See, you have to understand there is the percentage term that is mentioned, right? It does not really capture the full variety of the information that is there. If I give, say, one student the job of a telephone caller, it's very easy to give that job at zero pay, zero stipend. So many people are willing to pick up opportunities, but we have not done any of that. So this time we've actually had more than 96 organizations that have associated with us. We have 300 students, and on an average, every organization we have 3 to 4 students. And that's a very good number for us per se. In terms of the quality of the internship, I think our quality was the best. We have every one of their job descriptions. You can definitely go and pick up and look at those things. And very soon we'll be publishing a report. We had the convocation last week on the 6th for the new campus. And this week we are having the orientation for the DTA program and the executive MBA program. So I've been really caught up. I have to review the document and it will be made public information soon. So in terms of the quality of the role, in terms of the average stipend, we have gone up in the summer placements. The final placements is where we've had the difficulty. So we are almost 85% done, a little more than 85% done. And we've had a clear bimodal distribution. Now, what I mean by a bimodal distribution is you have one set of students who are doing really, really well, and another set of students who are doing a little bit less than that. Now, what that means is I have a mode at about 16.5 lakhs per annum on average. About 160 students are sitting there, right? Which is very good for us. But then the rest of them are sitting at around 12 lakhs, but they're the kind of opportunities that they are getting are not as good. So in terms of the market outlook as such, I would say the jobs are not there, in plenty. Like last year, and this is a metric we use here internally, 140 of us, that's half our batch, went to just 4 organizations. So just 4 companies picked up half my students. And this year, 2024, the year that's closing now, we've had 11 companies pick up half our students, which means the kind of diversity with which the companies are doing, the difficulty with which you can place, the dependence on high volume recruiters has come down enormously. And we are thinking of this as a strategic asset because we don't want to be dependent on any one particular recruiter, and we don't want this mass pushing to happen. And any good institute is going to want to think, we don't want mass recruiters, we want people who come for special, interesting sort of roles to us. And that is what our aim has been as well. So to answer the second part of your question, 85% of our students are placed. We have not opted out even a single student. So far, what happens. People can get opted out. People basically said, okay, you're failing the course. You're going to have to repeat it. Those sort of things keep happening. But at IIM Salmo, we have done none of that. And you can check. There are 600 students who are currently on campus. All of them are on LinkedIn. Please pick up the phone, talk to any person, and this can be easily verified. At least as far as the ethics and the empathy and the compassion is concerned, IIM Salmo has displayed exemplary empathy as far as the students' career growth is concerned. And also, I can tell you this year, we have not forced any student to sit for any placement opportunity. Students opted in for every placement opportunity. There was not a single organization that was mandated. Every organization, people participated only basis their interest. Now, these things in a tough market, when things are really bad, that's when people's true value comes out. And we are exhibiting our true value. We are committed to both our recruiters as well as to our students. And the moment you go and look at this next year, all these recruiters who had hired from us this year, they're going to start thinking, these guys, they actually mean what they say. And that's what we are trying to gun for, right? Our positioning is going to be the preferred recruitment partner for any organization who wants to pick up high quality talent in India. We want to be in a position to be a preferred supplier for good quality talent. And we want to be in a position to have technology to help the recruitment process happen seamlessly. And I think we have done that because compared to the number of days on average it took last year, which was about 6.5 days from the initial to the final selection round. This year, it has been about 2.5 days. And companies have been in a position to come and say, we are very happy with the kind of recruitment process that IIM Sirmoor is following. And we want to go ahead and engage with IIM Sirmoor more in the coming years. And we've had more companies coming back to our institute from the previous, more companies visiting peers, they're still visiting us. In terms of quality of companies, we're still going up. But in terms of student choosiness, I think you are right. Now, because we have not forced any student to go into one of these mass jobs, we also have a bunch of students who are currently unplaced. And we have not left them behind. And our policy is we leave no one behind. And we are sitting with them and we are trying to help each and every one of them snipe for an opportunity of their own choosing. Many of the people who are attending might have actually gotten emails from either me or my placement committee telling them. And if you're interested, I'm very happy to open the doors for you to run a placement process at IIM Sirmoor. And we are running it in the most humane way possible.
Thank you for information. Sir, as you said that 85% placement has been done, and what about the remaining 15%? As Mahesh sir said, whatever the candidate getting the opportunity, they should take it up. They should not deny whether the CTC or job satisfaction is not there for the candidate, but at least grab it, whatever you are having, right? But candidates don't choose that kind of opportunities. They are waiting to getting we will get more some opportunities. We will get. They are thinking like this, and they will just time spent like in a minute. And after a year, after 6 months or 1 year, they thought like if I joined a year before at the same slightly lower package, then it would be better for me. So what do you think that what should candidates do in that scenario?
See, I agree with Mahesh sir and the others to some extent, because you should pick up a job because it's a matter of bread and butter. But you have to understand from the student side also, this is their first job. The moment they make a wrong choice or the moment they make a different choice, then shifting into the career aspirations once again and negotiating that with a partner at a later point in time is going to get a little more tricky. So they want to play it safe. So I have noticed this, and about 5, 6 students, they had applied to top consulting firms for an internship, and they've gotten the internship also. And they decided, I want to be a consultant. I want to be with one of the top 5 consultants. I'm going to do an internship and convert it into a PPO. And we encourage that. So essentially what is happening is, at least they are saying, this is what I want and I'm willing to put my effort for it. Now, if it's just some job, and it's very easy for people to get sales jobs, it's very easy for people to get product management roles. It's comparatively more easy to get some of these roles than say a consulting role or an investment banker role, right? So the moment you push them into a sales role, they're going to feel very unhappy. Now you see, as an institute also, we don't want our students to be unhappy. We want our students to know that we are there to support their career aspirations. And the moment you start pushing and then chasing that 100% number, we actually start doing disservice to our students. And I think students have a way of figuring out, you see, 1 year maybe we will take a hit, and it's okay, it's a bad market, we can take that hit. But every year, year after year, the image that we want to build in the minds of the student, the brand that we want to have, is that of being an organization that actually values their career. And we are valuing their career. We have not, and you can check, please be free, pick up the phone, call any student in IIM More. We have not forced a single student in IIM More this year.
Okay, well done, sir. Thank you. Anyone has any query, please ask. Then we will end up the session. Eliza, are you there?
Eliza?
Hello, experts.
Yeah, I think our audience dropped to 29. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Mr.
I have
Balamurugan.
one question.
Yes, Balamurugan. I'm
One question.
Balamurugan from Institute of Chemical Technology.
Mhm.
Sir, I have one question about regarding in-plant training. So we have sandwich course pattern. Okay, so after this is a diploma program. So regular program is 3 years. So we have 3 years course. After that, the students have to undergo 6 month extra time for internship. Okay, for in-plant training. So this extra time, 3.5 course is either it is valuable to the students, or it is shall we go for regular course, because some industries want to take the students, they want complete within the stipulated time. 3 years diploma student is sufficient for us. We don't want the students go for in-plant training for other 6 months. We don't want to need to wait for the students to complete the course for another 6 months. So is it, from your point of view, is it valid, sir? Now, at the present time, sandwich pattern is valid. Still, we have to continue with that, or we have to continue with the regular pattern. That means 3 years course. From your point of view,
Who are you asking the question to?
sir, any from experts, sir, Karthikeyan, sir, you can.
Okay, hi. So I'm really not sure about this. See, one thing you have to be very clear about is HR managers can ask for everything. So the moment they come in, they'll tell you, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do this. You may not be in a position to satisfy everything, but as an institute, I think you should not be focusing on placements. You should not go ahead and say that we will place 100% of the students. The moment you start saying that, then the students start behaving differently, because it's no longer their job to get placed. It's your job to get them placed. So what you should start doing is to say, we will offer 100% placement assistance. We will bring you 100 organizations this year, and we will bring you 250 different roles this year. And it's your job to get placed. We will give you 3 or 4 final interview opportunities, and you stick to that. Now, if you start making that clear demarcation, automatically students also will start focusing more on getting their jobs. Because right now what happens, is they go in and then they see, okay, this company, this institute, this is the average CTC. Therefore, I will go and put my papers there and I'll go and start studying there. It's someone else's job to get me somewhere close to the average. But the average CTC is a very misleading figure. You see, the first, it's average of the CTC. CTC has a fixed component, a variable component. Variable component, no one knows. Fixed component, what it is, no one knows. And you really don't understand. Some companies add insurance as a variable component and things like that. They keep doing that also. So CTC manipulation is kind of easy to do if you are very familiar with statistics. Anyone can do it. But eventually what happens is the quality of an institute cannot be boiled down to just one number. You cannot say this one number represents how good or how bad this particular institute is. You have to be more in depth, and you have to encourage the students to start digging in and asking the questions that matter. Now, as far as your sandwich course and the non-sandwich course is concerned, definitely do is, if the organization's thinking about taking a sandwich course, you ask them like, okay, fine, we will do a sandwich course, but would you pick up 50 students from this sandwich course? And if their answer is yes, please, by all means, go ahead and do the sandwich course. Because ultimately, if they see value, they should not just give you advice. They should actually be willing to back up their advice with their own action. And if they're not going to back it up, then no point in going ahead and doing that. And always rely on this fundamental principle. Placements is a subset of the PGP. The postgraduate program or the programs office, they are the ones who are the masters. They will tell you what is good for the academics. They will tell what is industry relevant. They will tell what exactly is cutting edge knowledge. Placements should not dictate how academics works. Academics should dictate how placements work. So fundamentally, as a TPO, as a placement chairperson, we have to understand that our job is a subset of the job of the larger organization. And our job is not some magic wand. We don't have a magic wand with which we can place everyone. We just have to ensure that given the constraints which are provided to us, we will maximize on the output. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Karthik.
Thank you, Mr. Walker.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Question to industry, and just a different opinion than Mr. Karthikeyan. You know, sometimes branding does play a big role, and the colleges or the institution who are, I mean, which are in tier 3, or the TPOs who are heading their cells and representing their self to the industry, sometimes they face this challenge, and getting putting the admission full is something which is always related to the placement. So sometimes putting this word at 100% placement and having it the CTC, it is something which becomes an imperative part of admission process, and that is why some of the colleges, I mean, they face this challenge, but they will be committing it. They cannot say that yes, I will provide 100% assistance, because the moment they will say this, they will lose admission also. So that is the big challenge with the colleges with tier 3 and tier 2 cities. So now my question is to the industry people here in this meeting, that Dr. Mahesh and Mr. Lalit. You know, as a TPO, sometimes I do get complaint from the student that the job description says something else and the job role, what they have been assigned, is something else. As even Dr. Vashne was saying, that her daughter felt after one year of working there that she's not learning anything new and she's not upgrading her skills. So I think that the hidden message there is also that the exact job role which was promised at the beginning of the career, that was not shared to them. So this is one big challenge which we face now. Why this happens, and maybe I'm not sure, maybe that we normally we understand in a different way, probably the job role which is shared to us, but this is the complaint which is a very common complaint with most of the students. Madam, I'm in from Delhi, so what the language is, मैडम ये तो कहा ये था, मैं तो एक साल से यही करवा रहे हैं, मैडम ये सब थोड़ी होता है. This is the way of complaint. So the industry people can really throw us, I mean, just give us some light that what exactly why the situation is, and you know what happens that as someone said that it's mouth publicity as well. The feedback comes back. The senior gives the feedback to the junior. So sometimes it does happen at a company. I mean, I am telling the name of Amazon. I got this complaint from the student, and then in the next year, the number of applicants for the company reduced. So why it is happening? I mean, is there any lack in our understanding, or in reality, a company's JD says something else and the roles is offered something else?
I
Mahesh,
believe
do you want to take
sometimes,
up? Please,
yeah,
please go ahead.
yeah.
Please go ahead.
So I believe it is sometimes it is the understanding. There is a gap in the understanding of the job description. And I feel that in the corporate world, things are little dynamic. At times, it so happens that I'm not saying that every time it happens. At times, it does happen in some of the companies. I have heard about this, not in my companies which I work, but some of the companies have heard about this, that this has happened. Because what happens is that by the time they conduct the interview and the candidate join, the things might have changed. The project which they were expecting has not come up, or maybe the one which they wanted to start up something and that did not happen. At the same time, the companies did not want to withdraw the offer, and then they put the people into some other functions. Because of this has happened, and at times I've seen this happening in sales function as well. In every company, this happens. So people expect that they don't need to go to the field, and they will sit in the office, and through telephonically they will do the sales, which does not happen. So initially, for the first 3 to 6 months, they need to go to the field, understand the things, meet the customer. Then only the sales can happen for the rest of their career. But unfortunately, they want to sit in the air conditioned atmosphere and do not want to go out. And that is where the disappointment starts, or hatred for the job description and their understanding expectations all turn topsy-turvy. This is what I feel is the issue in majority of the cases.
Yeah, I mean, just to add a couple of points on top of it, it's about expectation setting the right expectation at the outset will be very important for candidates. So when let's say we study in MBA days or engineering days, we have very high expectation of ourselves. We feel that we'll go out and change the world. I mean, let's be very realistic about it. You should, and someday you might, but then there is a rigor that you have to pass through. There are those years that you have to spend to understand the basics of the job. You will be able to appreciate, then only you will be able to make meaningful change someday. You cannot go all out and express because you see the same thing happening in a movie, So it is important to understand it is important to set the expectations right. That is one part. I think if I can be fair and as a different guy, 80% of the time, that is the reason why there is a difference in the setup. The second point is, yes, there are sometimes companies also do manipulate, especially the smaller companies or the third party recruiters who promise you a moon, and then they just want they want to ensure that they are just getting placed because that's where their money comes in, right? So they want to just place by saying whatever it takes for them to be able to place. For candidates, it will be vulnerable that they ask right questions during interviews. One small question: what is exact job role that you expected from me? If I join from tomorrow or a month down the line, what will be the first few things I'll be doing in the first month? That's a right of a student, and if he asks, a lot of those questions will automatically get answered. On Dr. Sanjeev's daughter's thing, if we are bringing that into the context, I think that's a very different role, and he has already clarified it very clearly. That's because this millennia or the Gen Z population, they are very impatient souls. For 1 year doing the same thing day in, day out, I mean, very difficult for them to do that, So they feel that now my role should change. I mean, yes, but no, there are rigors that you have to go through, is what I'm saying. So very difficult to pinpoint what is that threshold point on which you are ready for the next role. as an organization, as an employer, I do, I mean, we should, and I do take a responsibility of creating a high path track for the employees that we have. I mean, a couple of our employees, they joined us at the lowest level, and within three years of a span, they were enjoying a role of zonal heads. So a cycle of four different or five different role changes could happen over a period of 3 years because they exhibited those kind of qualities. So as employers, you need to be aware is another point of thing. In fact, the largest of the organizations like Unilever, I saw a beautiful, and that's where I took, in fact, inspirations from when I was working with Unilever. So there is a separate track for high performers. So they internally identify that these are the high flyers, and there is a separate track built for them. Within a couple of years, you can actually aspire to become one of the VP of the organization, and that's very, very much possible. So organizations at large, as HR people and responsible people for the human resource development, we need to understand people are different. We need to judge them properly. We need to bracket them properly in ABC categories, and accordingly, we should give them right platforms. One of the, if I'm not wrong, for example, in his daughter's case, I mean, she might be one of those high performers, and maybe she's already ready for next jump, but organization is so crippled by the existing set processes that they are not wanting to, I mean, they are not ready. They don't have any process for any high performer. That is a loss for the organization more than the candidate, I believe. So as an organization, I should have a way to look at them. And again, AI and technology can play a beautiful role over here. You can define those programs and do that. So I'll stop here because as industry people, that's what we are doing day in, day out. I can keep on going. I mean, I can talk on hours on this subject. It's one of the most important subjects that I have. But here I stop saying that it is important to understand that there can be expectation mismatch, and at the same time, sometimes it can be a lethargic approach from an organization perspective as well.
In fact, I would like to give my own example. I joined one of the telecom companies in 2000 as a territory manager. My job was supposed to do sales through the dealers and distributors. But when I joined, there was nothing. I had to start everything from the scratch. I had to coordinate with BSES people, coordinate telecom, my own company's telecom engineers. I had to go and find space for putting up a tower, negotiate with the landlord. Then I had to go and put up the hoardings. I had to find out a vendor for hoardings, and then I had to find out place for where the hoarding will be better. And then I had to find out a space for office. There was no recruitment companies those days, and there was no internet as well. In 2000, I'm talking about, it was 1 hour of internet would have cost 200 rupees. And it was pretty tough. And then we did enjoy everything. And then and we grew. And but today's generation, people feel that no, they are meant for something, and they would like to, whether it's a right or wrong is debatable. But we did everything, we enjoyed, and that's how probably I grew.
That's why you are one of the topmost CEOs in India.
Probably.
Right.
I'm just stealing one more minute here. Then, Dr. Mahesh, this is the point which I wanted to point out here, that all such industry people like you should give this information to the students by putting something on your website, by putting the things that you see, even industry need people, and these colleges are struggling to get student place. So this type of information at how you develop your career and what exactly it is there in the industry, how students should prepare, a write-up just to make students understand should be there on the company's website. So if I'm interested to start my career in this company, I have this understanding. So that is the point at which initially I thought it should be there. Thank you so much. Yes, Shivam.
Okay, Alisa, anyone else?
I think Professor Suman want to speak.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody.
Yeah.
I hope I'm audible.
You are.
All right. So I'm overwhelmed with the kind of discussion that has been happening since morning. And my only question is like for the youth in today's time, no, when it comes to internships, yes, they are more inclined towards running to the companies in the urban areas. So I really want to know from you guys that what are the opportunities for students to go ahead with the internships in the rural areas, and how in we into the placements team can encourage our students or motivate our students to go ahead with such options with a open mind.
On a lighter note, you just send them to Bangalore and then make them drive every day for 2 hours to go to office. And I think everyone's going to be happy to, run back to the rural parts. So I keep telling them, I'm a Tamil guy, and there is this saying in Tamil, which is tripping distance. Basically, you trip and fall and you go to your office, right? So I stay within tripping distance from my office. So it's just like 1 kilometer. I can just run and come if I am really like late. And once we move to the campus, I'll be like 200 meters away. So the benefits of staying close to your office and close to your home are extremely high. So I think I mean, the glamour of going to, say, a Gurgaon or a Bangalore is very high, but lots of companies like Zoho, for example, in Tamil Nadu, they're now encouraging people to stay in the third tier cities, and Coimbatore is becoming huge. Here also, if you look at it, Vikas Nagar and other places are becoming very big in Himachal and Uttarakhand. So I don't think students are only interested in going to urban cities. I think that's a sort of sort of an assumption that's there, but uh, maybe they're going there because the opportunities are there. And if you can find good
Yes.
opportunities in rural areas, they're very happy to go. So I recently had like 2 or 3 students who went to Ahmednagar, and a place close to Ahmednagar, where they're doing drone-based agriculture. And they're very happy there. And they called me and they said, "Sir, there is not a single building in sight. Please have a look at this video." So I was like, yeah, people do want that.
Yeah, I would add that even not only drone, but any bio-based industries which is working in the fields would be happy to go to the field and study the ground situations. So whether they are into the soil or they are into any kind of crops or crop related products, for example, textile. So they would be happy that interns go to the real fields. And if I could extend your rural urban things to office versus field interns, because that is equally challenging. People are interested to do internship in offices, not in the fields. So that's a challenge. But our
Right.
idea should be to encourage them to go to the grounds, whatever field they are in, understand the situation, the challenges that comes from there, and after doing a lot of analysis, observations, analysis part they can do it in the office, but rest
Yes.
observation part, discussion with stakeholders, that they should do in the field. So I strongly feel that people should be, especially at that age when they have a drive, they should not remain confined to the offices and should go out.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, Suman ma'am. Anyone else would like to come up with? So, well, as everyone done with an Q&A, so I would like to wind up this session and wrap up with the greetings as we have drawn to close on this year's HR and TPO meet hosted by an UptoSkills. I would like to take a moment to express my sincere gratitude to each and every one of you who has actively participated, insightful contributions, and unwavering commitments and advancing the field of human resources and talent management. I hope that you found this session very informative, inspiring, and enhancing that are we living with the new ideas, strategies, and connections to propel your professional journey forward. On behalf of UptoSkills and the organizing community, I would like to extend my grateful thanks to Mr. Shivam for their invaluable support in making this event a successful. Your dedication and generosity have given instrumental in giving our vision to life, and we are deeply grateful to your contributions. Thank you once again for your participation, our position, your passion, and your unwavering commitments to the excellence. It has been an honor and a privilege to host you on this year's TPO meet, and I would look forward to your path crossing again the next future. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
I would like
Thank you.
to
Namaskar.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
would
Thank you. Thank you.
please
Alice, group
the
photo.
camera
Yeah.
photo.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Let's make a group photo,
Photo.
please.
Thank you, Shivam. Thank you so much.
Okay, group.
Everyone,
photo.
please switch on your camera for the group photo, please.
Now it's become very small. Wait, group photo. Will you be sending it to me also?
Yeah, definitely.
Sure, thank you. So I'm not going to try and figure this out.
Is it done, Aliza?
Yeah, it's done.
Okay. All right. Done. Thank you.
All right.
Thank
Okay.
you, Mahesh
Bye-bye.
sir. Thank you,
Thank you.
Balakumar sir. Thank you,
Have a
Sandeep
nice
sir.
day.
Everyone.
Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone.
Lalit sir. Thank
Have a
you,
nice day.
Nivita ma'am. Thank you. Bye. Take care.